Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Your Wildlife Images Reviewed. Now, for this particular episode, Charlotte and I review some images that were sent through by Karthik. Now, Karthik's been traveling with us for probably the last 3 years or so, and it's been really, really amazing to see how his images have improved over the years. And the majority, or actually all of the images that he's sent in this episode, is from a recent safari that where I hosted him and 3 other guests in South Luangwa. So some incredible images, and yeah, super proud of how Karthik's images have improved over time. But yeah, without further ado, here's Charlotte and I reviewing Karthik's images on episode 4. Right, Karthik, how's it going? Thank you so much for sending your images through. It's fantastic to have a look at some of the images, and just a great reminder of the amazing sightings we've had. I brought Charlotte along for this one, so she obviously wasn't on the trip, so it's just a different outsider's view on your images. So yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it and have a look at your images. The first one you sent through is this one over here, and really like this. Charlotte, what do you think?
Yeah, I like that it's in black and white. I like it's very clearly a leopard silhouette.
Yeah.
The crop's good.
Yeah, really like that. And I remember the sighting. This was our first afternoon actually, and it was just sort of after sunset when this leopard started moving. So it was low light. It was a bit tricky. It is a little bit busy around here, but there's not much you can do about that. I like the side-on profile. I like the sort of curl of the tail.
The whiskers.
The whiskers
very
over there.
detailed, yeah.
I think maybe if there's one thing, just have a look at some of your other images after this. If there was one with her with her paw curled, just to show a bit of that movement. But the rest of it I really enjoy. Very cool image. One of many. Little dog.
I love the muddy paws. I feel like there needs to maybe be a little bit more space in this. I'm not sure if you shot this with a
Around this
fixed,
side, yeah.
Yeah, maybe on the right a little bit. Like the photo, there's motion, I think, moving to the right.
Yeah.
Like the backlighting though, it's actually really beautiful.
Very pretty.
Even the editing as well. It probably didn't require that much. It's just shot really naturally.
Yeah. I agree, because I think especially because of this tail over here, you want to keep that there, but for that to happen, you have to almost give a bit of space to the right here. So yeah, just double check that crop a little bit, and maybe go for a more of a landscape crop. I would think, but yeah, I agree. Apart from that, really pretty.
Okay, this is so awesome.
Charlotte loved this when I showed it in the first time. She absolutely fell in love with it from the beginning.
There's so much happening in the scene, especially with the patterns. You have the pattern of the dogs, the pattern of the giraffes. I do think it might be slightly bright. Okay, this part here, let me show you with the mouse. Oops. This one in here, how he's looking up at this one, looking down at him. To me, this is like the subject of this photo.
That's such a cool photo, yeah. I agree with Charlotte. If you look at your histogram up there, maybe if you just try and drop those highlights down a bit, and even maybe just a bit of the exposure. I mean, this is a JPEG image. I get that, so it's not going to show as much as you would in your raw file. But have a look, just the difference there. Very subtle, but I do find, I agree that this area here was a bit bright. Okay, so always just keep an eye on that histogram as well, just to make sure that you're not peaking on the left or right hand side, that you haven't lost detail in your whites or your blacks. And then I don't know what, Charlotte, how do you feel about this? This dog for me is a little bit distracting.
Yeah.
I think maybe if you had to just sort of do.
I agree. I would crop in, yeah.
Maybe bring that up a little. Maybe something like that.
Because you don't really need the detail of the top of this. That was up here.
Yeah.
And then those guys over here were a little bit distracting.
Yeah.
So this sort of brings you right back to what, in my
those.
opinion, is the focus of this photo.
Yeah, it might be Just see,
Yeah,
play
you
around.
can bring it out a little more.
It's a bit tricky. Maybe this one in here a little bit. Maybe something like that. It's a bit tight. I know it is a busy scene, but I think that is just a little bit less distracting with those other dogs.
I like it like that.
And I agree. I think that this year, that tells the story. Such a cool photo.
This is such a cool photo.
They cheeky little puppies. This is actually a cool story. The pack of dogs actually chased this male leopard up the tree, and we had him going up and down a few times, and really, really well captured. I mean, this happened in a blink of an eye, and you can actually see he got a little bit of an injury on his leg there, the male leopard.
I like the crop. I think the motion is really nice.
Mm.
Going right up here. It's like mirroring the tree.
Yeah. Ideally, I mean, if this branch wasn't here, and I know...
now you're just being difficult.
I know this, I mean, it happened so quickly. It was literally pick up your cameras and fire away. I would have loved this branch not to be there, but with what you've got, I mean, early morning, that light in there, that movement of the paw, the eyes, everything sharp and in focus.
Yep. Everything's sharp. It was shot at what, 3200?
Yeah.
Nice.
3200. So,
got it all.
Yeah, great image, man. Well done.
Mm-hmm. This is so Luangwa to me. This is like classic sunset, beautiful. I love the reflection. I like all the space and the pink.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the pink?
So we actually spoke about this. I felt for me it was a little bit too pink. Charlotte said she loved it.
I love it.
So that's the, I mean, yeah.
The only, like these little pieces up here are maybe slightly distracting for me. If I were to crop it,
sorry.
I would probably just get rid of some of that, just to clean up the edges at the top.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's beautiful.
I actually love those guinea fowls in the front as well, so just adding to it a little bit. My feeling is I would just bring it down to there.
Personal preference, I think, on this one.
Absolutely. I do enjoy the colors, but personally I would just tone it down a bit, but Charlotte loves it, so she's right.
There you go. Okay, this photo I also love.
Yeah.
There's really not much to do here, I don't think.
No.
Like the crop is perfect. There's plenty of space. Is this a female?
This is the female. So also now, to add to the story, that male that went up the tree, this female was actually with him, and we're thinking that they were mating. So she was also like getting away from the pack of dogs. She eventually went into a very thick bush where the dogs tried to get to her. So great story, great image.
Yeah. Even the background, this is also very Luangwa to me, in that those, what do you call those trees? Not leadwood. Anyway, they're really pretty.
Yeah, stunning trees. Very well captured. I wouldn't change much of that. Great crop. Yeah, beautiful. So this is her again now, moving. A bit busy, but sometimes in this particular scene for me, it is a bit busy. Maybe if she was standing still and you photographed her through this and you had eye contact. I don't know about you, but I actually like photographing leopard through that sort of dense vegetation.
Yeah.
It just gives it a natural look.
Well, okay, so the backlighting is really beautiful. I agree that it's very busy. This detail here of the tail is really nice, and the movement. I think I would probably maybe change the crop. I'm just not sure how. Let's see. I'm not sure. What do you think? Still a little bit busy.
Yeah. Still a bit busy. I mean, this is the JPEG version, so we don't have the details of the raw image. I think you did well to get focused through all of that dense stuff. It's still again, you can only shoot what's in front of you, and you've done perfectly well with this. It wasn't easy, and again, she had the dogs following her quite a bit, so she was moving through dense vegetation. So to get focus and to get that movement of the paw, The tail turn around, nice backlighting.
What are you most drawn to in this photo?
To her, but also this little patch here gets to me. And again, we're being super critical here. It is a leopard. They do move through those sort of thick areas. What about you?
My eye just goes where I love this little curly tail here.
Yeah.
I think that's really pretty.
Yeah. Very cool.
Cool. Nice
well
one.
done, Karthik. Yeah, well done with that situation that we had. This this is one of my favorite images from the entire trip. It was
so cute.
It was so cute. I mean, I think we all tried to. I think most of you guys got it because it was literally in a blink of an eye. They were playing with the leftover kill, obviously, and then there was a bit of like a dominance display between the pups, and when to get three of them is very cool. And I just love this one's expression. Yeah, he's almost like the winner with a piece of meat in his mouth, and
it's so silly. Cool. It's so puppy behavior. Just
a
little dog pile.
Yeah. I would maybe try and have a look with the raw image to maybe just with a brush. Just try and brush up these faces here a little bit and just try and get a little bit more life in there. I don't know how much we're going to be able to get out here. Maybe just try and, just a little bit, just to get a little bit more life in those eyes. I mean, now it's going to look a little bit unnatural, but I'm just giving you a rough sort of idea of what it shows, because without that, it's the faces are very dark, and that's one of the difficult things when you're photographing wild dogs is they've got these light patterns on the body, but you get to the face and it's very dark. So if you don't get sun straight in their faces, it can be very difficult. So I mean, I overcooked it a bit now, but just gives you an idea of what you can do with the raw image. Otherwise, magical moment.
This is crazy.
This was just wow.
Really an amazing, and even the blood in there. And perfectly captured the motion here.
That's absolutely wow. Absolutely wow. You got nice depth of field at f8, fast shutter speed. You're going to struggle to get a better hippo photo than this.
Absolutely. I mean, they're way out of the water.
Yeah. That splash of blood there, mouths open. I don't think you can ask for anything more than that.
Where did you shoot this from? Were you guys down?
So, funny enough, we had just crossed from Tena Tena to Kahinga with a little canoe. And as we got in the vehicle, I mean, we all had our cameras down as you do, about to go on a transfer. Boom. And the guide said, look behind you. And then this is what we saw.
Yeah, cool.
Very cool image. I wouldn't change anything there. Amazing
the light's
capture.
Great. Cool. It's also beautiful. Not much to change here.
Yeah. If any of you guys have photographed carmine beaters before, you would know just what a painful exercise that is. So to be able to get something like this, I know we spent most part of the morning in that hide, and we probably shot about, I don't know, 5,000 images. I don't know.
Really?
It was crazy. But this is just, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moment. To be able to get them in flight, shutter speed at 2,500, nice depth of field.
Yeah, these guys are in focus. I love the interaction between the two of them.
Yeah.
And these little guys peeking out.
Very, very cool. I'd maybe try and, let's just see. This one here is maybe just a little bit distracting for me. But again, it's not being super critical. If we do something like that, and maybe bring this in a bit. I don't know. What do you think?
So I'm not a huge fan of the square crop.
Yeah.
I know that was the original. I don't know if that's what Karthik wanted to do for Instagram or something.
Yeah.
I tend to think that a landscape might be a little bit better for this, only because, let's try. For me, there's like the motion of this side here. Oops,
yeah.
I don't know if it's going to fit.
Yeah.
I agree, though. I think this little guy down here is a little bit distracting.
Yeah.
So even if you did want to keep it as a square, definitely had the right idea with putting these guys in the top left, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no. His head. Get rid of him. Actually, no, just decapitate him. There we go.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's very cool. That's super image. Nice interaction. And I think, with that one in the bottom right that's not there anymore, I think that makes for a stronger image. Less is more. Nice.
That is cute.
Nice.
Nice capture.
I think just have a look. I think you've got one image with more of them taking off, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I love the facial expression of this giraffe. Obviously, the oxpeck is taking off. This guy almost sort of looking down at him. Great image. I also like the portrait crop. I think with the giraffes in general, that sort of works best.
It's nice to do something different with giraffe. Usually it's like the portrait of the giraffe with the blue sky.
Yeah.
So this is cool.
Yeah, solid image.
Nice. We looked at this a little earlier. I was just thinking it possibly requires a little bit more space on the right. Maybe not though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you cropped it like this in particular, but for me it just needs a little bit something here.
A little bit more space, yeah. And I think also it feels a bit yellowish for me. Maybe, I'm not sure if it was the vibrance or maybe with the white balance, but I would maybe just try and bring that back a little bit. See if we just bring this down just a touch, just to give it, so from there, just to sort of bring it back a little bit, so it's not as sort of orangey and pinkish around the...
So cool.
But yeah, the inside of the mouth, this was actually from the hippo hide. I remember this.
Okay. I know exactly. I know this little bank that's right opposite the hide.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Super cool image. And again, to get you can't ask for a better hippo photo than this one and the previous one that you had.
Nice. I think Luangwa does well with hippos, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely the spot to see these guys.
Oh, pretty.
So that the first thing for me that bothers me is that little paw down there. For me, it's a bit distracting. I would maybe try and we'll see what Charlotte thinks now, but I would maybe sort of look at maybe something like that. Let's see what that. Maybe just bring it down a touch.
Yeah, and this also gets rid of that one leaf that was for me slightly distracting. I agree. Yeah. It's like if you don't get the whole paw, then rather just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because you were missing a little bit of it down here.
Yeah.
And the focus of this is really her face anyway.
Yeah.
So it just goes straight in for it.
Yeah, absolutely. What you can also do, I mean, it's so tricky when you present it with those bright skies when a leopard's in a tree. Is I think we have worked with this radial filter before. But I'm just going to show you just a rough idea. Let's zero all of this. I want to try and darken the areas around this leopard now. So something like that. And the main thing for me is this sky over here. So let's just have a quick look. If we just darken that down just a little bit, maybe drop some highlights down a fraction.
Even more.
You can even...
Yeah.
So you can... It seems very subtle, but you can see now how your eyes are just drawn to this area a lot more. Remember, our eyes are drawn to those bright areas. There can be possible distracting elements, but often there's not much you can do about it. You can just, in your post-processing, try and bring it down. Yeah, you can even crop it in a little bit more. Yeah.
Pretty.
Just trying to eliminate those possible distracting elements. But I love that sort of, it's a real cute look. And I don't know if you've posted this on Instagram yet, but I look forward to seeing the end result. Great image. This was magical.
That's
really,
amazing.
really cool. This was actually our last afternoon or last evening. Big male leopard having a drink. Nice reflection.
Spotlighting is very cool.
Really, really pretty.
With color, I know it's difficult with the spotlight. For me, it's like a little bit just slightly too warm. I would probably try to neutralize that by cooling it just a little bit, personally.
Yeah.
I think that looks a little bit more realistic.
More natural, yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree with you. It's I'd even maybe have a look at doing a landscape, where to do it like that. It's a video. You can walk past it.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, hi.
I personally like that landscape option. What do you prefer?
It brings you in closer.
Yeah.
Let's see. What did you use? 16 by 9.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the placement of him down in the bottom right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I want me to go over here more. Okay. All right. Let's stay.
Yeah, that's also.
I liked 16 by 9 actually, which is I don't normally.
Yeah. Again, I mean, there's so many different options, and I think that's the cool thing when you have different people look at your images. It's just,
I think it also depends where you're going to post this. Like if you went back to the original, if you're posting this on Instagram, for example, it would just, I think he would appear too small on the small screen, so if you cropped in more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But great image, beautifully captured, man. Nice, going down to the river. I remember these two lions. So the image for me, I love the black and white conversion.
So do I.
But it just feels a little bit sort of grey tones.
Slightly flat.
Yeah. So I remember, like, you asked me a little while ago that you want to sort of work more on black and white stuff. And a very cool thing is if you go down to the black and white chair, you've actually got individual colors that you can work on. And the cool thing, have a look over here. If I click on this ring and have a look here, oh, it's not showing me. It's not showing. Maybe because it's a JPEG image. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that's strange. It must be because it's JPEG.
It's not doing anything. Okay, that doesn't work.
Anyway.
Epic fail. But have a look in your when you're processing your raw image. If you go down, so you select black and white over there, or you can just hit V, which is the shortcut. Go into black and white, and then with these individual colors, you can work on certain colors in here. If you click this and you move around, it should sort of give like a little gray square, which means that's the color it's going to work on. And that'll just give you a little bit more depth. So like if you put on greens, this area here will get a bit darker. If you work on the oranges, it should be on the lions. And then I would also just stretch these whites and blacks a little bit, just to get your pure whites, pure blacks. Even maybe pull a bit of the dehaze, just to create a bit more contrast. And then also with your lights and your darks as well, just to make it a little bit more contrasty. You can use it. I don't know. Do you ever use this contrast?
I sometimes will use it in black and white, particularly. Yeah. I think black and white can handle a lot more contrast than other images.
Absolutely. So I mean, you could use this, or if you work with your whites and your blacks, it essentially does the same thing. You just have a little bit more control over it.
I think the biggest change is when you brought the blacks down. So that for me makes a huge difference to this photo. I feel like this up here actually needed to be a little bit darker anyway, and then it just kind of brought some contrast.
Just to get those pure blacks, so you don't have like that grayscale. You've got pure whites and pure blacks.
Beautiful. This is crazy. It's hard for me to imagine this scene. This is so beautiful.
This is this thing. I think. Again, we're back on that pink conversation.
I like the pink. It's like kind of busy though. I'm not exactly sure. Like for me, I prefer the tree and the sun here. I don't know if the shadows were lifted a lot or something down here. It feels like there's a big difference in light.
Yeah, I don't know if you maybe use the gradient filter maybe. It feels like I agree. It sort of goes lighter, but then here it goes.
Yeah, like
dark.
I think the bottom half needs to be maybe darker.
Yeah. I would even maybe have a look
I know, I feel bad.
Because
but I would also do that as well.
And you know why? Because these birds for me here is such a cool story.
Yeah. So if we made this darker. Yeah, I think just to make just to make it a little bit more even, something like that. And we can add a white side wanted something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that the puku are nicer, but I don't think that they're that important to the photo. I think this is what is the most important to the photo. And I know you said you would take the vibrance down. I don't know. I love. Oh well, actually, in contrast, there's something like that that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's personal preference.
So what would you do with vibrance? You would just go way down, or saturation?
I won't say way down. I'd maybe go like that, and it's very subtle, but it just.
But don't you think it's a little flat now?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Let us know. It's. I'm always just. I don't know. Maybe I'm too scared with vibrance, but I think you got to be so careful not to make it like too fake. Especially on social media, you often see like a lot of it gets totally out of proportion. But I think in this particular case, look, I remember with that dust there, it was quite pink, it was quite red. So I'm not sure how much you added.
Are you happy with the tree? With this kind of, it's like a little bit offset. I almost feel like the tree needs to be, as long as everything is in the same line, possibly more center.
You're a perfectionist, aren't you?
Maybe. Cool. I like that one too.
That's very cool. That's all of them. Karthik, thank you so much for sending those photos through. Again, like we said, really cool job. It's amazing to see how your photography has grown over the last few years. And guys, if you want to have any of your images featured on one of these episodes, get in touch with Charlotte or myself. Our Instagram handles are at the bottom, and we'd happily do this for you in the future.
Send away.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karthik.
Thank you so much, guys. Until next time. Cheers.